Hi, and welcome to this video on the 2017 SATS questions based on fractions. So all of these fractions questions are taken from the 2017 SATS papers. They're in random order, and some of them worded questions, some of them just basic skills questions. So let's just get straight on with the answers. I'm recording with Microsoft PowerPoint, and I am using Microsoft Word to do all of my inking and drawing on. So just going to go on to the draw, and after that you can see you can select the different colored pens. I need to select the black one. I will show you what the others do later on. It's got a lot of other features over here: ink editor, ink to shape, ink to math. I'll be covering some of those later on. For this video, I'm just literally going to go through these answers. So I always make a habit of rewriting the question. 4/6, or 4/6 multiplied by 3/5. And if you are familiar with multiplying fractions, you just multiply straight across. So that's going to be 12/30, which then simplifies down to 2/5. Right, question number 2. So I'm just going to go back. If you're not sure how that simplifies down to 2/5, all you do is you divide both numerator and denominator by 6, and that leaves you with, so 12 divided by 6 is 2, and 30 divided by 6 is 5. Okay, question number 2. As we can see, so first of all, I'll write the question out. 3/4 minus 3/8. Well, the first thing is we have two different denominators. There's a 4 and an 8, so we can't subtract the numerators. Just make this one into an 8, so you're going to times that by 2 to make that denominator 8. So that's 3 times by 2 is 6, and that remains as 3/8. Okay, so that gives us 6/8 minus 3/8, which leaves us with 3/8. Question number 3. So for this question, I would advise splitting the question into two parts. So I'm going to do the first one here: 1/4 plus 1/5. And I know for a fact that a common denominator for both of these is 20. Now, how did we get from 4 to 20? We multiplied it by 5. So we also multiply the numerator by 5, which is 5/20. 5 was multiplied by 4 to get to 20. So if 1 is going to be multiplied by 4, that's 4/20. And then we've got a case of adding those two together. Adding those two together, but also adding 1/10 to that. Now, if we take the answer for this, it's going to be 9/20, and this simply, if we just multiply it by 2, we get 2/20. So 9/20 plus, sorry, let me just go back. I'll just erase this part. Okay, 9/20 plus 2/20 gives us 11/20, and that is our final answer there. Question number 4. 4/5 divided by 4. Now there are a few different methods you can use for this. I've simply taught my students that when you're dividing fractions, you can multiply the denominator with the whole number. So if we do that, that's 5 times by 20. So I'll write this again. There's 4 and then 5 times by 4, which is going to give us 20. So 4/20, and the simplified version would be 1/5. That is our final answer. Question number 5. 2 and 1/3 plus 5/6. First thing is we need to convert the mixed number into an improper fraction. So 2 multiplied by the 3 gives us 6, plus the 1 is 7. 7/3 plus 5/6. Again, different denominators, so I'm going to keep 5/6 the same. That's the same. And this is multiplied by 2. It's going to give us 6 at the bottom. 7 times by 2 is 14. Now we can add those together. 14 plus the 15 is 19/6. Now, if we cancel that down, 19 divided by 6 is 3, so 3 6s are 18, and we are left with 1, and the denominator stays the same, 1/6. So the final answer is 3 1/6. Question number 6. 2/6 minus 1/8. Again, different denominators, so we need to make sure that we get the same denominator. Number that both 6 and 8 go into is 24. To get from 6 to 24, we multiply it by 4. So 2 times by 4 is 8. To get from 8 to 24, we multiply it by 3. Therefore, 1 times by 3 is 3. Same denominators allow us to subtract the numerators. 8 minus 3 is 5/24. And that is our final answer. Question number 7. 1½ multiplied by 57. First thing we need to do is convert this mixed number into an improper fraction. 1 times by the 2 is 2, plus the 1 gives us 3/2. Multiply that by 57. When we are multiplying fractions, we multiply the numerator with the whole number, so that gives us 3. What we need to do is 3 times by 57, and that over 2. If we were going to do that in our heads, 3 times by 50 is 150, 3 times by 7 is 21, so 150 plus 21 is 171, so that's 171/2. If you want to simplify that, which you need to, that's going to give us 85 with the remainder of 1, and the denominator stays the same, and that's 2. If you want to double check that, 85 times by 2 is 170, and then add the 1 gives you 171. Question number 8. Take 2 shapes that have 3 quarters shaded. So you have to be careful with these. Every single shape has a different amount of equal parts. So my advice would be to count the shapes and count the shaded area first. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that denominator is 8, and the shaded parts are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6/8. Okay. If we simplify 6/8, we divide both by numerator and denominator by 2, that's going to give us 3/4. So that is has definitely got 3/4 shaded in. This one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, denominator is 6. How much is shaded in? It's 1, 2, 3, so that's 3. Sorry, let me go back. Okay, so we've got 3 out of 6 which is shaded, which actually simplifies down to 1/2, so that one is not part of the answer. This one here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, if you count them up. So the denominator is 16, and we've got 1, but we can just subtract the 4 actually, and that's going to give us 12 out of 16 which are shaded in. Now if you simplify that down, you do eventually get to 3/4, so that is also part of the answer. The last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, denominator of 9. How many are shaded in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7/9. And if you try to simplify that, it doesn't work, so therefore that is not part of the answer. So Adam says 0.25 is smaller than 2/5. Well, 0.25 as a fraction is 1/4 equals 0.25. If we do the same for 2/5, easy way to do it is take 2/5, multiply it by 2, and that's going to give us 4/10. Well, if you multiply it up by 2, you get 4/10. Convert 4/10 into a decimal, that's going to give us 0.4, and then you can see 0.25 is actually smaller than 0.4, so you can actually write that in your explanation. In this circle, 1/4 and 1/6 are shaded in. Some of the students that I gave this to got confused because nothing is actually shaded in on the shape. So you actually need to shade it in. There's the shape. Shade in 1/4. Not going to do the whole thing, but you can get the idea. And there is 1/6. Now the problem is, says what fraction of the whole circle is not shaded? Well, we know the thing that's not shaded is this, this, and this. The issue is, how do we work it out? Well, if you add 1/4 plus 1/6, which is the shaded part, you actually find out how much is shaded to start off with. So let's do that. Common denominator will be 24 because 6 and 4 both go into 24. So multiply that by 6 to get to 24. That's 1 times by 6 is 6. 6 times by 4 gets us 24. So 1 times by 4 gets us 4. That's a total of 10 over 24. So 10/24 of this circle is shaded in. Now, if we want to know what's left over, well, what is left to get us 24 over 24? So all of the parts shaded in. So if we just take 24 over 24 minus 10 over 24, that gives us 14 over 24. And if you simplify that down, you should get 7/12, and that is the final answer. Excuse me. Okay, so this is the last question, although sorry, it goes on to the other page. Right, in each box circle the number that is greater. Okay, so you can see you've got decimal numbers and fractions, so convert them so that they are exactly the same. I'm going to convert my fractions so that they are decimals to begin with. So I know 1.5 is actually 1.5. I'll put that in brackets so I know exactly what it's equivalent to. So that is the bigger one here. 1.25 is 1.25, and 1.3 is obviously bigger than 1.25. Okay, so this one here, 1 and 5 over 100, so 5/100. If we were to actually work this out, we've got the whole number there, and then whatever comes after it, this is going to be a 10th. This one here is 10th, and this one is a 100th. Sorry, let me just get that. And the second one is 100. So if we've only got 5 over 100, which is 5/100, that's going to give us 1.05, in which case 1.4 is actually greater. Again, with the second one here, we've got 1.5, 1 and 3/5. Well, I'm not good at working out anything that's over 5, so I'm going to change. So I've got 1, and I'm going to change 3/5 into 6/10 by multiplying it by 2. So I've got the 1 and the 6/10. 6/10, I know if I look back at this thing that I did here, the tenths is the first number, or the first place value after the decimal place, so that's going to give me 1.6, which means this is actually the bigger value. And that's it, we're at the end of the video. Thank you for watching.